Welcome to the next installment of my video lecture series for microeconomic principles. And in this particular video, what I'm going to take a look at is one of the questions that students had a little bit of difficulty with from Chapter 2. In particular, this is the question that is referred to as item number text problem 4C. And this one relates to creating the PPF for Kristen. So let's work our way through this, shall we? It says here, Kristen and Anna own a small business in which they make wristbands and pot holders, as shown in the following table. And I think the area where people might have gotten confused is the fact that this table is an output per hour. So this is how much these individuals can produce per hour. So for example, Kristen can produce 20 wristbands per hour and 4 pot holes an hour. And since the question only really relates to Kristen, we won't be concerned with what Anna's production levels are. Also, assume that Kristen works 20 hours per week. Further, assume Kristen is in business on her own and she devotes half of her time, 10 hours out of 20 hours, to wristbands and half of her time to pot holders. So realize that piece of information. She's working by herself and Anna does not come into this equation at all. Using the line drawing tool, graph the possible combinations of pot holders and wristbands that she could produce in a week if she devotes all her resources, including time, to production of each good. So what they're asking you is to come up with the extreme end of each of these. So for pot holders, we know that Kristen can produce 4 pot holders an hour, and she has 20 hours a week that she could produce that. So if we do the line drawing tool, that means if she spends all of her time producing pot holders, she can produce 80 in a week. If she were to devote all of her time to making wristbands, she can make 20 wristbands per hour, and she has 20 hours per week to do that. So 20 pot wristbands per hour multiplied by 20 hours gives us 400. So we label that the PPF of Kristen. The next part of this asks us to come up with her output combination if she splits her time evenly between the production of pot holders and wristbands. So if she were to produce wristbands in 10 hours, it's going to be equal to 40. She can produce 4 wristbands per hour. So in 10 hours, she can produce 40. And if she were to take the other 10 hours and produce wristbands, she could produce 200. So that would be represented by this point right there. And we label that point A. So that's how you do that problem. It wasn't a huge problem for people, but it seemed to be something that needed to be reviewed just in case you're asked a question like this again in the future. So make sure, I think probably the main reason people got this wrong is they neglected to realize that this table was an output per hour. So maybe you were just graphing the information in here and ignoring the fact that she was working 20 hours in doing this.